We're going live. Hey, we are live. Hello. We're not public yet, but people who are watching this unless said hello. We are live to talk about stuff and things. Yeah, I scheduled the time for a wrong time now because, of Jeb. But hey, we're gonna talk about Don't Look Up today. Not the first thing we're gonna talk about because I gotta get some comments from another stream, but
You have to talk about the TASM 2 comments, Marcus.
thank you. That is, yeah, I
Yeah,
was
you're
not
about
remembering
like
it.
you're on like half an hour late, but you tried.
Yeah.
No, I reminded him. He didn't say when.
No, yeah,
Yeah, but
no. I mean,
Ned did first.
I don't. Whatever.
Technically,
Who cares?
yeah.
Let me just fucking share the stream on the server. I have shared the stream on the server, and now I'm ready to go get the fucking comment, which I should have gotten already, but I was busy because I was watching a film preparing for today's stream. So we're gonna do that. Um. So yeah, let us venture into the comments of the TASM 2 stream because that
ECUM.
was that was an interesting stream we had where a lot of people did not like what saw a lot of what you had to say. Actually, I was actually impressed. Um, but let us see here a discussion about Jab's favorite movie. Oh yeah, Channel Puff's video. No, we're gonna cover that at some point, but no, we're just gonna talk about the comments we got on our on our stream. So give me a sec so I can put it up on screen. And who would like to read this comment?
Uh, I'll turn robots are not a good idea.
That is a
Do I
good point.
sound good? Do I sound good right now? Am I
You
good
do.
to?
Yeah.
Do I sound good or what?
Hold on. No, but yeah, you're fine. If you would like.
I'll read it then.
All right. So give me 1 sec, cause I gotta put it on full screen. All right. There you are. Okay.
So I would say, while I think some of your points against Ralph were correct, some of them, like music and humor, just amounted to you guys going, well, I liked the music or I thought it was funny,
All right. Stop there.
which is fun.
Because I would tackle these points as we go by. So yeah. So first off, when all that Ralph says is the music is bad and there's nothing more to it, if he doesn't elaborate, all we're gonna do is say I like the music. But when we talk about humor, especially because of how subjective humor is, it's gonna be yeah, I thought it was funny. But the idea is Ralph was like, oh my god, that joke was so funny, right? And you don't want me to play it again because it was so funny, being sarcastic. Because at this point it's like, yeah, the film is just not funny. But he's painting a general picture about how funny the film is. I just realized I didn't click on read more, so I gotta get a new screenshot. But anyway, the way he was talking about it is if it's just like a general consensus that everyone agrees on that oh yeah, this film is not funny. But if we found it funny, then that already invalidates this point. And like obviously we can talk about how well made the jokes were, but we did talk about that and how they relate to character and how they help develop the relationship between Peter and May, for example. So it wasn't just I thought it was funny. The I thought it was funny was to him saying, well, this isn't funny, is it? And we're like, no, actually it is to us at least. So yeah, let me click on read more before we continue because I am stupid. Okay, now you have the full comment.
Oh, God. Right.
Yeah, if you would like to continue reading it.
Right, so which is fine, but that is just opinions. Also, while the assassin at the beginning, also with the assassin at the beginning, he still should have set the plane to autopilot and only turn it off after he killed Peter's parents, so he would have less risk of dying.
Right, his plan was to cover up the killing. If he shoots them, or if he shoots them and then they die before the plane crash, the issue he's gonna have is that it's not gonna be as good as a cover up as oh no, it was an accident. The plane just happened to crash. Like his plan would have worked perfectly if what's her face, the mom hadn't broken out of the fucking bathroom. He didn't want to shoot them. He had the gun as obviously just like a way of threatening Richard. to get the fucking laptop from him.
I can't believe two co-workers at the weekly meet said they really like Don't Look Up. How about, here's advice for them, don't breathe again.
Oh my god. Oh no.
It's fair. It's called Don't Look Up. The fitting punishment, don't breathe.
Of course. Actually, there is a film called Don't Breathe, and it's a really good horror film, so yeah.
Whereas this is just a horror because it's so fucking bad.
Two different types of horror, yeah. If you'd like to continue, Tim.
Also, I think you did not need to keep making fun of Ralph for thinking No Way Home and Spider-Man 2 are good, since first of all, you guys thought it was good for years before Southpaw and Shandy made their videos.
Alright, pause there. Firstly, no. I don't think... I think a lot of people have this weird misconception, but Southpaw's Steak was built with me and Jeb. Like, us three, yeah, we were the ones who talked the most about the film. Like, a lot of the issues that breaks the film the most was Jeb that found the fucking deal with Doc Ock and Harry. So, it's not like, oh, we didn't realize until Southpaw or Shandy did something. No, we didn't realize until we did realize. But either way, the fact that he said, but it's not just Spider-Man 2. The other issue I have is with No Way Home, with that he gives a 9 out of 10 to that film, while criticizing TASM 2 for doing similar things he's criticizing it for. So, yeah.
Keep on.
And secondly, Ralph.
Yeah. And secondly, Ralph has said he believes that if a film is engaging and entertaining, that makes up for plot holes, and it's only when a film is not those things that he criticizes the plot holes.
That is a terrible fucking standard to hold, because TASM 2 is engaging for me, and therefore now every plot hole is excused. But he said in the video that the film is factually bad, so what does that make it? Is he lying to his audience? I have no clue, honestly, what exactly his point is with that video then. If this is actually something that we're supposed to believe in, to be his standard.
Now, I know that's not your standards, but my point is that his standards is not the same as yours, so I don't think it makes sense to mock him for liking a movie.
There's just not really anything to say here. It's just like, yeah, he liked No Way Home, and he thinks it's a well-made movie, whereas he thinks TASM 2 is bad, even though No Way Home is categorically worse in every way that he criticized TASM 2 for. So.
Also, as someone who has seen Remember Me, the 9/11 twist added nothing to the movie, and his character death could have been anything else, and nothing would change. So the 9/11 twist was stupid, but it is still all that Ralph for TASM 2 was trying to make it feel like 9/11.
Yeah, I have not seen the film, so I cannot comment, but I agree that it's weird what Ralph did, so yeah.
Yeah. Also, I am not saying that it's bad you made this stream, though, since it is fine to defend a movie. I defend movies all the time.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you mean. It is fine to defend movies. I don't know. I thought this was a bad comment. The arguments against what we said seem really strange. Also, let me see, because there are a lot of other comments. There are actually some good comments now that I think about it. Okay, so there's this one talking about the security footage point. So let us tackle that now. And I guess I can read this one, so Tin doesn't have to read every one of them. So here it is. Let me just put it on screen. And here we are. So I disagree with the security footage point. I don't care how bad the footage is. Getting even a brief glimpse of Spider-Man changing into his costume would be a big deal. And I'm pretty certain almost every store nowadays has security cameras. So, first off, you just said nowadays, right? That was 8 years ago when the film was released. So, that's already an interesting point to make, but whatever. Secondly, even if that store does have a security camera, the angle that it would get Peter would be able to hide enough to not have his face be on the fucking camera. because he was like behind a fucking stall. He was wearing a fucking beanie and fucking scarves that like you could basically not see him, especially with the security cameras that have very, very low quality footage. And I really disagree with this. That's just like getting a brief glimpse of Spider-Man changing into his costume would be a big deal, especially when like I don't think he would out Spider-Man, that store owner, especially when Spider-Man just saved this fucking store from being robbed. It seems kind of like pointless to do that. It's kind of like, oh yeah, this person who just saved my store, let me out his identity to the world. Or at most be like, oh yeah, he's a white guy. I don't see how that would be a big deal anyway. It's not like it would change anything. It's like, yeah, he's a white man. Congratulations. So, I don't know. Strange point. Also, give me a sec because we got a super chat. Let me log in. But while I do that, let us get the next comment. We had a big thread here. Fucking hell, okay. Yeah, we have a big thread. So, let's get it here. And we shall analyze what these people have to say. Because,
oh, God.
like I said, it's big. All right. Who would like to read this one for chat?
I guess it's my turn.
I guess it is.
Go right ahead.
Bro, what the fuck is this shitty essay? Nah, I ain't reading all
The
that.
first thing you see in it.
Look, if
No,
you don't have
skip.
to fucking read it.
All
I'm
right.
not reading it. Skip.
No, we have to, Jeb. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of this sentiment has been shared like a lot of the comments. I think it's important to address. Just fucking Bootneck super chatted saying, "What are your thoughts on Arcane? Also watch The World's End." Yeah, I haven't watched The World's End. I am sorry for that. But Arcane, I have seen episode 1 and I thought it was pretty good. But I need to finish watching the show. So that is all my thoughts on the show. And I don't think anyone else has watched it here, right?
No, I've seen that.
I have not.
Who's the cat wearing their cat suit? None of your fucking business.
Oh yeah, you just haven't mentioned that at all, right? That's hilarious. Never seen on the stream and nobody. Fuck yeah. Anyway, Zod, if you can read Christoph Schutz's comment.
Oh boy. Yes, Ralph's reviews are very inconsistent. He criticizes movies for not objective values, but simply on personal preference, and thus he gives the MCU, which he stated a lot of times is his preferred current movie franchise, a terrible amount of leeway. I thought, however, that you'd be a more objective alternative to the EFAP crowd, which for some reason totally flips their values once it's about criticizing their favourite movies. And yet, here, it seems you also flip your standards the moment it comes to a movie you seem to prefer. Oh, God. Why not choose a review which criticizes this movie for valid reasons and not personal preferences?
Alright, so let's stop there. So what counts as valid reasons? Like, for you? Like, wouldn't every reason be a valid reason? And even then, the issue I have with this is because Ralph's fucking video is Ralph and YMS's videos. They're cited always when someone asks why TASM 2 is bad. Those are the videos that everyone cites. Those are the videos that everyone has on their minds. And it's like, oh yeah, TASM 2 is so shit. I mean, look at these videos showing the issues with those films. Like, if you paid attention to our chat during that stream, there were people saying, oh yeah, the only exposure I ever had to TASM 2 was through Ralph's video, or I used to think this video was good. Like, for years, those videos have been videos that everyone flocked to and was like, oh yeah, no, this is a good video. We criticized the film properly, which is just not true. And that's kind of the point of addressing, is like showing that even these videos that everyone thinks are fantastically argumented for why the film is bad, they're just not. They're not well made at all. So yeah, that's the point. In terms of why not choosing any other video, those are the video we already covered. One video, I don't know, we've covered other TASM 2 videos and we'll cover more in the future. We don't have to, you know, we're not just going to cover a select few ones. We can cover more than those. And, you know, part of the point of ECUM is just to have fun. And those videos were funny to laugh at. And I knew they would be. Part of what I wanted in that stream was to get CV's reaction to those videos, because I knew that Thother had already watched them and I had already watched them, but CV hadn't. and obviously these fucks hadn't as well. It's like, oh yeah, it's interesting to see what people will say when fucking Ralph starts going on about a fucking 9/11 reference in a fucking Tazm Chu film. You know, so yeah, that's also a part of it. But yeah, I mean, I would need you to explain to me what valid reasons are. But I guess you're about to give them because you seem to be giving examples. So let us see, Zod, if you would like to
Also,
continue. Oh, or not.
I want to interject.
Okay.
This is ignoring the fact that we have gone through so many videos.
Mm,
It's not like we're like cherry picking them. Like, you've had a debate with Morna and Rags. You've now changed your stance on that. We've had Filmento, we've had YMS, we've had Ralph. There was another one. Who's the other one?
I mean, there were the two debates.
Yeah.
Where there was the one with Madcap in this channel, and then there was the Sandhill one that Thought and I debated Sandhill.
Yep.
So
There's another 2 debates there, so you've had 3 debates. We've constantly debated with people in our circle as well about the film. More so Marcus thought. So you can't make, based on this singular video, which seems to be your only frame reference, that we've cherry picked. We have, to be honest, been the most open TASM 2 defenders for any criticism. I've always said,
I really recommend you watch the Sandhill debate if you haven't, because it actually is a really good debate where like all of the parties were being really reasonable as far as I'm concerned. So yeah.
and especially I can say at least for myself, I've literally gone on record multiple times saying I don't have a view. I'm just here to hear arguments, give my thoughts.
Yeah, pretty much. But Zod, if you would like to continue.
There are many bad moments to choose from. For example, first off, Peter didn't know anything about his father's co-worker, and his work at Oscorp Industries in the previous movie, but is the childhood best friend to the heir of Oscorp Empire in this movie.
Alright, that does not contradict anything. So
That's not a good start.
Yeah, so
Christoph.
in the first film, as we know, Richard was hiding everything about his research, not only from, people at Oscorp, not only to his fucking, I guess, teammate who was working with him on his research, but he was also hiding it from his family. Now, you think, I guess, that Harry for some reason would know a lot about the company because he's Norman's son, even though Norman has been hiding shit from him, which is even shown in Tazm Chu, because Harry had no idea what about the disease, the Osborne curse. So yeah, this seems really weird to me. And obviously, Richard was hiding everything, and that to a point where not even Aunt May and Uncle Ben knew about his work, which Aunt May says in Tazm Chu. She's like, whoa, he was a very secretive man. He always took the D train every day, and then he got back, and it's like, yeah. So I don't know, weird argument to start with.
I'm just checking the script because I want to see what age they specify Peter and Harry knew each other.
I think
if they do
10, because it was 8 years apart. So yeah, they were 10.
10
yeah. 11.
So, and then Harry was obviously sent off when he was 11 because the whole Oscorp research. So even Harry, when he Harry when he knew Peter, Oscorp wasn't even really a thing by the sounds of it. Nor was the research.
I mean, Oscorp was a thing, but
because it says here, you kicked me off to border school when I was 11. On my 60th birthday, you sent me scotch, and then he went, and then Norman justified it with, how could you possibly understand that your childhood had been sacrificed something greater, and not just for me, referred to the illness, which means the illness start.
Well, the thing with the thing is that Harry would have had to been sent off after Peter's parents died, because Peter says, you were so there for me when my parents, when he first meets Harry. So yeah, it would need to be just right after they died, probably.
Yeah, so there's not even a way of Harry knowing anything about Oscorp to tell Peter in the first place.
Yeah, that's a weird question.
Actually, That's a nice detail because that means Norman thought it through in terms of the weakness that Harry has with Peter. I never thought of that.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, Zod, if you'd like to continue.
Where the fuck am I?
The horrendous
there.
opening.
Yeah, I was trying to find it. The horrendous opening in which Spider-Man lets cars being destroyed by a truck just to throw some quips and not prioritizing defeating the driver and stopping the truck.
Yeah, we've tackled this a bunch of times. I'd say watch the Madcap debate. If you're not convinced, then I don't think I'm going to be able to convince you. Point is, I think people overestimate how much Peter knew what to do in that scenario. And every time I hear people give other explanations as to what he could have done, it's always either with hindsight bias or with putting the plutonium in danger of exploding. So, yeah. But if you would like to either be more specific or just watch the Madcap debate, I recommend you do that. Zod, you can continue.
Yeah. Right. Plots that go nowhere because whole parts of the movie were cut. Peter's father, for example.
Well, what doesn't make sense about his? Okay, sorry. Wait, I'm trying to find exactly what he says. Some quicks, blah 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 blah. Plots that go nowhere because whole parts of the movie were cut. Peter's father, for example. So, what is missing from Peter's father's subplot? Because everything makes perfect sense from the beginning of showing him running away and then the plane crashing until we find the video and it's concluded. And then if you actually seen the scene where Peter's father returns, one question would be in your mind, how the fuck is he alive? And if he's alive, where the fuck has he been for the past like 8 years of Peter's life? So the idea that if you've watched the audio commentary for TASM 2, the writers spend the last 15 minutes, they talk during the entire credits about that scene with Peter's father, about how it was very emotionally impactful as in terms of a character moment, but how it makes everything but how it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, considering fucking how his father just survived a plane crash and then disappeared for 8 years without trying to find his son, without trying to talk to his son, and how that would be kind of like a turn off for people to be like, well, where the fuck have you been? So, yeah.
Yeah, because to my knowledge, the only cut scene involving Peter's father is the one you mentioned. I don't think there was another one.
Yeah, I don't think there is another one, no.
So it can't be. You can't use that as your reference.
Yeah. You can go on, Zod.
Yeah. Oh, this next one's gonna be fun. Horrendously inconsistent characters such as Electro. He turns bad because he's crazy. Crazy should never be used to further the plot.
Firstly, why should crazy never be used to further the plot? Are you telling me that people who have mental issues don't exist? Like, are you telling...
You can't show them in films? What?
Yeah.
That's a bit of a bizarre standard.
Also,
know, right?
he didn't just turn because he was crazy, and it's going to be continuing on later on about this crazy point. Max has hidden mental issues, and with everything going on in circumstances, he has a mental break.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like he just turned crazy and that was that. No, there are other factors needed to it, and then drive his motivation from there. He's basically the extremist.
Yeah, like you can't just like if you have crazy as like the sole like excuse, that's usually like doesn't work. But like with Max, it's like there is a cause and effect. Like there is actually like he has these issues, and there's a reason. All these reasons that push him. It's why there is reasons why he snaps basically.
Yeah, and the thing is,
he just suddenly goes crazy out of nowhere.
Yeah, the thing is, we did mention those reasons in that stream itself, where we're talking about his motivations and why it makes sense the way he turns, as opposed to just being like, oh yeah, he turns because he's crazy. It's like, no, that is all established previously in the film. So, yeah,
that's a good question. So does this guy think Norman is a bad villain? That's kind of a good point, because Norman, whilst he has the motivation to get revenge, it's all driven by a mental disorder.
Mm-hmm. Poindexter is a horrible villain then. Yeah, 100%. Fucking. Bullseye. Fucking shitty villain. Alright. I did want to address something in chat. Did SK change his mind about that part, by the way? No, SK has not changed his mind about the truck part. He said he would rewatch the film with those defenses in mind, and he has, and he still thinks that it's bad, which is fine, but I disagree. So yeah.
Harass SK Comics, please.
Yes, please go
Yes.
shoot on Twitter. Did you really just do that? Okay. Anyway, so fucking Zod, if you would like to continue. I just realized actually that his reply has a read more, so whenever we get to that, we'll But
Where will you learn?
For fuck's sake. Okay, so going into more detail here. The problem with mentally unstable people is that they can almost never keep a job. How could he ever get a job at the world's most prominent company and help design one of the best electro grids ever?
Maybe just maybe it's because he's insanely fucking smart, but everyone underestimates him because he is mentally unstable. Yeah, exactly. He's the best at his job. Like,
I mean, it's not even that. Like, if we look at how the film has presented him, he before the Spider-Man and him getting powers, he had violent thoughts that were kept hidden, but he never acted on them, and there's no signs that he is mentally unstable. It's until he gets his powers, then is lied to by his perception, that he acts on these things. That's why he's kept a job, is because he's able to control himself. He hasn't had that break yet.
Yeah, like at his job is kind of like just a pushover rather than being like mentally unhinged. Because like, for example, there's one scene that illustrates that perfectly. When fucking office man, I forget his name, but the guy who works, who fucking Max's boss, is like, oh yeah, if you design the grid, then I'm Spider-Man, and then Max attacks him. He's like, you're not Spider-Man. He's a Leo, you're a Sagittarius. And it fucking goes crazy, and then we cut and we actually see, oh, that was actually his imagination. So the idea there is that even though inside he's got a lot of anger and he does have issues with these thoughts, I guess, that he has, these obsessions, he's still like is able to control them and I guess repress those urges or those feelings so that he doesn't have to fucking attack his boss. So yeah, he knows how to do that. The issue comes when he gets his powers and then he just lets loose.
Yeah, it's like a build up. That's how mental stability works. It's on a scale. It's not like you are mentally unstable, you're not mentally unstable. There's a degree to it. It's same with someone who murders. A weird example, but they often are built up to have a motivation to murder, but they always had that mental ability to do that action.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from everyone else's perspective, at worst, he's just awkward and weird and just weak.
Yeah.
Whereas,
like even school shooters. If we look at how school shooters work psychologically, they build up over time, and then they have this sudden snap, and they start killing people.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was I?
Defending that is like defending Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2.
There we are.
It's a terrible comparison, but
right. Yeah, defending that is like defending Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2. Harry just knows that Spider-Man's blood can heal him. What a convenient way of introducing additional conflict into this movie, although he has a perfectly fine combat suit waiting for him in the cellar of his company that is used in the movie later to heal him instead.
So, you clearly don't understand what the film is going for. Firstly, the spiders were being studied by Richard and Norman's, a study that was being kept secret because of Richard trying to destroy the research and run away, and so to frame him, they couldn't release that publicly, and so he only gets that information and nobody else does because of the fucking drive that Norman gives him. So that's why Harry knows. He's watching all the research that Norman has, and that is research that only Norman has and not anyone else. And then he thinks, there's this man who has spider powers. who has an insane healing factor, and we used to do research on fucking spiders and cross genetics with spiders. So would that mean that he got his powers from that spider? If so, that could potentially help me. It's not that he knows 100%, but is his best bet, because every other research has been total failure, as you can see by, the lizard. So with that in mind, that could heal him 100% of his illness, of the fucking Osborn curse. Now, the combat suit, what it healed was his fucking bones, the bone structure that was all fucked up, because it's a combat suit meant for for soldiers in active battle, to as in like getting them to safety when they've been wounded a lot. That's I think that's what the writers intended, and so it doesn't fix his fucking illness, as you can see by the end of the film, where even after he got injected with the spider serum and after he was inside the suit for some time, he says that his illness comes and goes, as in, the visual aspect of it, which means that he hasn't been cured. So yeah, and even then, if you want to think about that, he only found out about special projects because of Felicia, which was way after he found out about Peter's about Spider-Man's powers. So even then, that doesn't really contradict anything in the film, that even if it was fixing Goblin, if the suit could fix Goblin, he wouldn't have known that in the time where he went to Peter to ask about Spider-Man. So yeah, this is a really bad point.
Well, I don't think it's going to get much better from here. Electro is no longer corporeal, yet Spider-Man webs him and Gwen drives him over just so the plot can happen the way the writers want it to.
Right, so he is corporeal. He needs to take corporeal form to hit Peter. We mentioned that in the stream, that every time he hits Peter in the grid fight, he needs to take corporeal form. He needs to be physical. But he can move through, those pylons and taking like his energy form, I guess. But yeah, Peter can web him. And Gwen can also drive him over because he is corporeal in the moment where she hits him, and Peter webs him at that moment, and Max doesn't do anything because, well, actually he does do, right? He stops the webs. So yeah, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Electro's electricity is doing whatever is required at the moment, stopping gallons of water mid-air so that would hit him, or holding Spidey in mid-air, and sometimes it knocks Spidey clean off his feet, and other times Spidey simply takes the electrical bolts for 20 seconds straight.
Almost like he's using different intensities of his electrical powers at different points, because he wants different outcomes. So for example, when he's being sprayed with water, obviously what he is doing there is evaporating the water, which means it's like an insanely high energy, so that the heat can evaporate it. When he's holding Spidey in midair, he is shocking, I guess, Spider's joint so that he can't move properly. And then when he's knocking Spidey off his feet, it's usually a combination of just doing more than one move way too fast for Peter to be able to stop it. But also, yeah, Peter can take some bolts sometimes when Electro is wanting him to hurt and not just simply just fucking die. So yeah. And if you're talking about when Peter is like taking all the electricity when Gwen turns on the fucking grid, yeah, Peter is enduring that because it's like his resolve of being like, yeah, if we do this, then I can kill Max and save the city. So yeah, for fuck's sake, chap. So yeah, he's using his different powers differently at different points. It's fine. Indeed, great analysis on the lookup, fellas. Don't worry, we're gonna get to it. Just fucking chill.
The flip-flopping of Peter and Gwen just for the sake of unnecessary drama does nothing for the movie except make it longer.
You're stupid. For fuck's sake, Tin-Chu. Okay. But yeah, the fucking Gwen and Peter not being together at certain points, and they're being together at certain points. Well, I don't understand when people say flip-flopping, right? Because there's a clear through line with how they break up in the beginning, because it's something that has happened so many times before, with Peter breaking up with Gwen due to the fucking promise he made to Captain Stacy, but then Gwen breaking up with him, being like, I can't. Oh, hey, now you're all cats. I'm happy.
Yeah.
This is like Don't Look Up. You're all looking right. I'm looking left. So don't look right. So
Don't
yeah.
look left.
But yeah. So so yeah, she breaks up with them for being sick of always breaking up and getting back together with Peter. And then obviously they still have feelings for each other, and they have the scene just before Times Square where it seems like they get back together, but Gwen is like, no, I'm gonna move to England, which is kind of like putting an end to it, being just like, yeah, I'm not going to continue like living this life with like living this, getting back together and breaking up again, because that doesn't work out for anyone, which she said earlier. And then at the end of the film, Peter realizes that he can't just protect Gwen from everything, because it is her choice ultimately to you know be a part of his life, to put herself in danger, just to be with Peter. And that if she wants to do that, there's nothing Peter can do. So there's a clear through line, and it is part of Peter's arc. And then her death is also, a very big, I guess, the ending of that, of Peter being of her, choices leading her to that point, and Peter wanting to protect her but not being able to. So I don't know. It isn't there just to make it longer. It's there to develop Peter and Gwen as characters to get to the end point, or when she dies. So yeah.
I'd be more annoyed if they didn't properly develop it, because that's what I was looking at the end of 2001. It was just going to be like, oh, he went back on it and they're going to be happy. Like, no, the best written piece is to have them have conflict, and it turns to the theme with the movie about time running out, and also how Peter's juggling all these things and he's struggling. This adds really well to it. It's not out of place.
I agree. I changed my profile picture. Don't worry, I was changing it. Don't worry.
Nice. The sudden end of Peter's depression due to his loss of Gwen just because he heard a recording.
That is untrue. That is literally not what happens.
Actually, I think there was a tweet recently where, like, if you watch the final scene, you can hear in his voice, like, he is not actually fully okay again. Like, you can tell, like, he's better, but he isn't back to his old ways. Like, he's still got a long way to go. Like, so he isn't suddenly fixed. It's more or less just a case of he has, like, a little bit of hope left.
Yeah, and like, it's not just because he heard a recording. It was the conversation he had with Aunt May. Aunt May was like, "Where are you going?" And then she talked about Uncle Ben and how, she was taking his boxes and just putting them somewhere else. Because just trying to move on, I guess. But obviously, you're still gonna carry a part of that person you lost with you. And then hearing fucking Gwen's speech, obviously, is gonna help with giving him hope again to be Spider-Man. All of that paired with the fact that crime has gone up since Spider-Man stopped being, Spider-Man. So that would also be another motivation for him to go back. So there are plenty of reasons more than just he heard a recording. And even then, hearing the recording is fine. And even then, he never stopped being depressed, which especially is shown in No Way Home, when Andrew is like, I became more ruthless and I started, killing people. Not killing people, but yeah. Just not holding back, which is something that Mark Webb intended for TASM 3, because he was consulted on No Way Home. So, yeah, I don't know. Seems weird to me to say that.
I admire your confidence, Christoph, how you came in here going we're obviously cherry picking, and you had, here are actually criticisms, and then you've made one of the worst criticisms for the film I've ever heard. I admire the balls on you, but yeah. Also, it's worth noting, just because he seems happy in that moment doesn't mean he's going to be happy in the future.
Yeah.
Depression works in waves a lot of the time.
Yeah, I watched yesterday, in preparation for this stream, a film called Melancholia, and it is a film about two characters who, fuck's sake now, a film about two characters who are about to experience the end of the world. Each character represents something. One character represents depression and the other anxiety. In the beginning of the film, the character that represents depression, it is her wedding day. And, she's trying to push through it. She's been smiling for like an hour and, pretending to be happy. But then when she's alone, she's just like gets insanely depressed and she fucking takes a nap in the middle of her wedding night or fucking takes a bath while everyone is waiting for her to go cut the cake. Point being, the way the depression works is not just like, oh yeah, I am depressed, so I'm going to continue being depressed and I'm just not going to move on. Sometimes it works in ways. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you fake being happy, and sometimes you just are insanely sad beyond all reason. Considering the loss of Gwen, it is fine if he has a sliver of hope after the conversation he had with Aunt May, and after seeing fucking Jorge trying to fight fucking Rhino, and after listening to Gwen's speech, which feels like the perfect way to just like say goodbye to Gwen, considering what the speech is about. So, I don't know. Kind of seems like a very narrow-minded view of depression, like Jeb was saying. So, yeah.
All the unnecessary Sinister Six setups, which went nowhere.
If you could cite to me all of them, because like, so there's Harry, when he opens special projects, he sees a bunch of suits, and including the one he uses. So I wouldn't count that as a setup, but if you want to, that's on screen for like 10 seconds. And then we have when he goes into special projects, we see the suits in the background. And then the last scene with Harry, he talks to Mystery Man, who goes into Oscorp, and then he gets the suits. He goes through the suits, and then he gets the Rhino suit and gives it to Alexei. And that is all. In terms of all the amount of screen time, that's probably, 15, 20 seconds? Something like that. And most of it, most of it is in the scene where Harry goes with Oscorp Man, and he gets the spider venom injected, and it's all like out of focus in the background. So, yeah, I don't know. It seems weird to me that you say this all the unnecessary when it's like a few moments. And obviously they went nowhere because the fucking franchise was canceled. But it's like saying that a canceled TV show had setups in season 1 that were just ignored. They just went nowhere because it was canceled in later seasons. I find it really strange as a fucking criticism for the film. So, yeah.
I honestly think he's just like mixed in the advertising for the film with all that.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. Oh, we need the end of this one. The crotch POV shots were weirdly distracting. That's fine.
I mean, if you say so. I mean, you just said that you wanted us to cover more objective and actual wishes with the film, and then one issue you have is like, oh yeah, the POV shots of Peter swinging were weirdly distracting. Those shots that appear twice in the film at the beginning. Wow, those are definitely big and relevant issues to the film that are completely not subjective.
This pizza's really good, you know.
Nice.
I haven't paid attention for the last 2 minutes because I don't care about this criticism.
I'm having pizza in a bit.
Fucker.
Yeah, fuck you.
Mine's got hot dog in it. This is more interesting than whatever shit's being spewed right now.
Mm-hmm. Also, it's a nice touch at the ending of Tasm gives closure with Uncle Ben's phone call, like Gwen's speech recording Tasm Chew. I agree. I always found that neat. That it's Peter getting a message, I guess, from the beyond for these people that he cares about so much, and how they just, how he can, continue to carry on their legacy by not giving up, I guess. So I like that. And
the CGI was very bad in some cases, Rhino's armor. And it was excellent in most of it, but,
I don't understand how it's bad. And most the fucking shadow on his face was a bit weird, but, like, it's fine. And if that's the worst it gets, wow, the film is really good in terms of CGI.
I will give you 5 shots, Christoph. Like, if you DM me one day, I'll give you 5 random TASM 2 CGI shots, right? I kind of give away that those CGI, that wasn't clever. 5 random shots from the film. And I want to see if you get the best CGI or
Practical.
yeah, because I guarantee you're going to say they're practical when they're not.
Yep. Now I'm gonna read this one to get through it faster. Not that you did a bad job, Zod, but it's because we spent too much time and I talk faster. So yeah. So hold on. I need to put the cover on. 1 sec. All right. Copy link. But let us read the replies to that comment. Here they are. And so, someone replied to that comment by saying, there's a debate on SK's channel that addresses some of your issues with the film, by the way, specifically the rhino chasing. I assume this person meant the Madcap debate that was on ECUM, but yeah, it had fucking SK, so I understand the confusion. So, yeah. And so, this person again said, yes, I'm now well aware of that debate, although I haven't seen more than 15 minutes of it since I can see all the glaring problems myself, and they made fools of themselves already during the analysis of the first movie scene, if you say so. I think choosing two very bad non-objective critiques of a movie they already lost a debate on just to counterpoints that are mostly personal preferences, such as music and acting, is somehow the ECUM crew is something the ECUM crew shouldn't stoop down to. We already addressed the fucking why we chose that video. But we lost the debate, but we came up with defenses for all the criticisms in the debate, or all the big ones. So yeah, that just because you lost the debate doesn't mean that, like, I don't see how it changes anything in terms of what videos we cover, but okay. They can of course counter and make fun of such non-arguments, which makes sense. It seems as if they won the argumentation for Tasman should being good, it's just being disingenuous. How is it disingenuous to address the arguments against the film we're defending? And what classifies as like actually valid arguments? You still haven't said what they are, except for, you know, the arguments you provided, which are all incorrect. So yeah, and there was nothing new in this video that had anything of value to the debate beforehand that would make one consider or to reevaluate one's view on Tasman 2. Well, actually, I don't remember if it was Fringy or Mahler, but during the EFAP Tasman 2 debate, they did say that YMS's video was good. So, you know, maybe that does mean something. But, and then Christoph Schutz is like, okay, you're looking for a good debate here. And then he linked the Sandhill debate, which I don't think we got a reply to that after that. So, yeah. So the thing I want to say is, if people actually think that our arguments aren't that good, watch the Sandhill debate, please, because it was really good. But you are free to put your criticisms in the comments and we will address them, because, you know, we like talking about Tasm 2, and, you know, if you think I have better arguments than Ralph and YMS, which hopefully you do, we will more than we will very happily just address them and be like, yo, you're wrong, but nice try. So yeah, and we did have other comments, but I think we should just move on to fucking, what call it, don't look up.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but the streamers didn't have to. What we're talking about, I can't even fucking remember the name of it.
Film's shit. That's about it. Bye. Please join them.
Right.
See you later.
So
Yeah, the end part.
I don't know how to structure this. I guess, Jeb, I guess everyone just give their like very concise thoughts, and then we get to an actual like discussion about the film. I guess that could be best. So, Jeb, what are your thoughts of the film? Like, concisely.
Boy. The worst film I've seen in a long time. Really, really bad. It's a film that shoots its own message of climate change is a thing upcoming. The comedy is fucking garbage. I've seen better from Ralph skits. The plot is diabolical. I didn't like a single character. When they all died, I was so happy. I was like, you know what? You all deserve it. You're all cancer. Cinematography was dog shit. The lighting was flat. I said this to Marcus.
Yeah.
Really bad editing. And man, the pacing. Generally, it felt like I was there for 10 hours, slitting my wrists. Like, making satanic rituals in the process.
What a fucking analogy. Alright.
Like, I was sitting there with people and I was drinking, and Jolie, I'm an alcoholic now. I'm getting help.
Always has been.
Oh, it has been,
Luke was right about me.
yeah.
But yeah, on a serious note, it is hot garbage, 0 out of 10. I'd rather get testicular cancer and not
Jesus Christ. All right.
Your turn, guys.
Okay. I guess I'm next. I thought the film was really bad, but one thing was that I found it hard to put into words why when I finished the film. And I was reading reviews and I was like a huge part of why I got so annoyed, obviously, is because it's a comedy, and I think I laughed 3 times in this 2.5 hour long film. So that's already not a great start. When you want, your film that is satirizing some aspects of society and, trying to not take itself very seriously, but the jokes you made are fucking dog shit. That's not great. That doesn't help your cause, because you're just gonna alienate people who are watching, because it's 2.5 hours of fucking, very, very cringe and slow filmmaking. The one thing that annoyed me a lot is the way the film is shot, which I'll get more into more specifics later. But I think the way the film is shot, it goes against the way it's trying to perceive its reality. But when you compare it to something like Melancholia, I think that film, the way that it was shot, makes way more sense, which I will also get into. And just in general, the idea of what they were trying to do with the film by comparing, a comet hitting Earth to a global warming does not make any sense whatsoever, considering how it's not remotely close to being the same thing. There's so many different fucking aspects as to what goes into global warming that when you compare it to a comet hitting Earth, it's just a terrible analogy. And Jeb and I talked about it, and there's so many better ways to just be able to make that same kind of analogy about, the world ending, and not using a comet specifically to talk about it, and that would make the story fit way better with the analogy that the fucking Adam McKay was trying to do. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I thought it was really shit, and we'll get into better. So yeah. Was the camera looking up? It was fucking contradicting the entire point of the film, which was not to look up. It was very cringe. Oh, anyway, Tin, what did you think of Don't Look Up?
Right, well, my thoughts are still pretty fresh because I finished it like a few hours ago, but yeah, basically what you say is bad. It's just bad. Pretty much every character was basically intolerable. I couldn't stand most of them. Any smidgen of tolerance I got from any of them was just gone by the end. I was pretty much waiting for them all to die at the final scene.
Fair.
and then when they all did die, it wasn't satisfying enough.
Spoilers, by the way.
Oh, who cares?
Oh, the discussion about the lookup. Yes, it's fine. Everyone knows we're gonna spoil this. I don't think anyone cares in this audience about us spoiling it.
Honestly, who fucking gives a shit?
Yeah.
Hey, please don't spoil my precious Don't Look Up movie about climate change with Ariana Grande.
Jeb spoiled it. They look up.
They do look up, oh no.
Almost every character just annoyed me to every possible variety, and the fucking president. All I can say is one of the worst characters I've seen in a long time. Just Jesus Christ. Like I get wanting to do satire and thinking you're being clever, but this wasn't clever. It wasn't satirical. It was brain dead stupidity mixed with a subtle hint of retardation. and I honestly still don't get the whole message. It just completely convoluted itself and shot itself in the ass like 5 times. It just completely fucks itself over, and like the other day it wasn't even fucking funny. There was one joke I think where like I slightly breathed a bit through my nose, but then I decided not to because I would betray myself. So yeah, it's fucking garbage. I hate it. I fucking hate it. Like honestly, I'd rather watch Years and Years by RTD because that's a better fucking political drama than this. So yeah, film shit.
All right, Zod, your turn.
Okay. well, you'll know that this is a film that's apparently designed to be a satire. Well, that requires it to be funny, which it isn't. But if you know anything about me, then you know that I'm a huge fan of Armando Iannucci's work, which is like The Thick of It, In the Loop, stuff like that, all political satires. And it's watching this film, it's difficult not to sort of have them and Years and Years in mind, because like there's similar sort of ideas with just self-interested politicians making decisions that go against the good of the people just for the sake of keeping themselves in power and whatnot. But this film, it just does it so fucking pathetically. Like I get when you want to make politicians look stupid, but fuck me, it's just it's inhumanly stupid. Like, they acknowledge that the world's going to end, but they still make these dumb fuck decisions. It just doesn't work. It's just constantly frustrating all the way through, just paying attention to any of it. It just hurts. It hurts to look at. It hurts to think about. The characters are not only brain dead, they're just inconsistent. They just flip flop. It's just fucking. Yeah. Watch Years and Years instead. Watch fucking In the Loop instead. They're all better than this.
Yeah. Well, there are actually plenty of things that I think are better. I did find it because I think I mentioned earlier to Zod about how I think Thick of It is a way better version of it, because I've only watched season 1, but that show is definitely satirizing, politicians and their way of dealing with problems, and that's where the comedy comes from, and that's something I really appreciated from season 1. But when we come to the fucking Don't Look Up, it's just like, oh yeah, let's do the most retarded fucking thing imaginable, because I guess that'll help me in the polls, which obviously it doesn't. It's like, let's just say, if you come to the president with saying the world is going to end in 6 months, if we need to stop it, if the president doesn't say yes, let us do it, do you think that the fucking her approvals are gonna go up? Or better yet, don't you think her approvals would go insanely up if she saves the entire fucking world, which means she would probably be reelected just by virtue of saving the world? Like, ignoring that issue is fucking insane, and that's like what the crux of the film is built on. Because the fact that she doesn't want to do it is what kickstarts the fucking entire going to the press and causing her to causing like all the backlash and Jennifer Lawrence's character to go down her like spiral of everyone hating her because I guess she made a funny face on live TV while she was saying that the entire world was gonna die and nobody took her seriously, even though there's scientific proof that she's fucking right. So, yeah.
Let me say this. This is how bad it missed the mark. I am in a country with a prime minister that's in a police investigation for partying too much. Excessive alcohol has just lost 4 ministers in 24 hours of pretending it was a good thing. Is against the deal he signed up for and approved for his own election. Has basically collapsed the country. I went on about Peppa Pig to a major organisation. Just got insulted by Vladimir Putin after acting all confident and shit. And even he would understand that you need to save the world to improve your approvals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a bad president. Fucking Boris Johnson would be more competent than
I have a spastic in charge. Honestly, this president character, if she killed herself in the film, I would have actually cheered. And
yeah, for real.
And it's clear she's meant to be a Trump character, but I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, they also have her son being, like, with all the incest jokes being obviously just like a parody of Trump and his family that everyone makes fun of with Trump's relationship with his daughter. It's like clearly a Trump allegory, or how they were like. They use the Don't Look Up as like the new mega kind of like branding for their party, or how they called the people who were opposing them the Look Uppers, which really made me cringe. I wanted to die in a fire after hearing that line. So, yeah.
It's typical Hollywood bullshit to criticize Trump because I'm sorry, when Trump was presented with a dilemma that could end the world, he did, kind of act on it because he knows, hey, that boosts my approvals.
Indeed. Maybe if you let the world die, that's not good. Just putting it out there. Maybe if you actually
hot
save
take,
the
yeah.
world, people will like you. But yeah, like the thing is, I was watching earlier today because I've heard from a lot of people who did not like Don't Look Up that what's the name? Fucking Doctor Strangelove is a film that is very similar to Don't Look Up, and I haven't seen Doctor Strangelove in such a long time. I was rewatching it. It was really interesting because the entire film is about all these characters meeting with the president and these like military consultants and shit like that, meeting with the president to figure out what to do to save the world, because if everything continues as intended, then there'd be like an all-out nuclear war with Russia, and they're trying to stop it, obviously. And so so even though there are certain characters who are like caricatures or just making fun of real world politics of the time, the fact is that still, either way, the fucking characters in that film are acting logically with, yes, we want to stop the end of the world. Like, there's not a single character there who wants the world to end. Even the person who caused the entire thing was because he wanted to save America from the Russians influencing them and putting fluids in their drinks. So yeah. So even the film that Don't Look Up is trying to be, which is Doctor Strangelove, did the exact same thing, very like a lot better, because it doesn't actually have the characters being insanely stupid to a point where the president will let the entire world die because she doesn't care because of her approval ratings. And then the other issue I really have is how the film introduces the fucking I guess sci-fi aspects, which really annoyed me, with how insanely advanced their technology is, which means that their plan not working in the end is like, why didn't it work, considering how advanced your technology is? And like, couldn't you have just set the fucking comet off course and then mined for minerals then? Because that's what every sane businessman would do. But fucking fake Steve Jobs is like, nah, let's let the comet come to Earth and we're gonna mine it on Earth, because that makes way more sense. So yeah. Let's see. What else can we talk about? I thought Jeff would be more talkative. He's fucking silent, so fuck you, Jeff.
I'm here. I just finished my pizza. I'm not.
Congratulations.
This film gives me severe depression. Do you want me to kill myself, Marcus?
I do.
I'll get the pills. I'll get the pills right now.
Yeah, I did. Speaking of pills, how about fucking Leonardo DiCaprio's character who has fucking panic attacks, but in the end, he just does not
Yeah.
have a panic attack. So this is another thing. Because I watched Melancholia, which is another film that people have been comparing it to. And the character who has anxiety in that film, who represents anxiety, obviously when the world's about to end, she starts fucking crying and bawling her eyes out, being like, fucking hell, we're about to die. Fucking Leonardo DiCaprio's character, who is established to be to have panic attacks, he was fine when the world was ending. He was just having dinner with his family. He didn't panic at all. Wasn't that fucking hilarious?
And he found out his wife cheated on him.
Mm-hmm. Which was also really fucking stupid.
Honestly, that film gave me suicidal thoughts. I'm not. It's not even because it's a depressing film. It's just it's so fucking colossally retarded.
Yeah.
That, like, what the point of satire is? Yeah, it's exaggerated, but it's meant to derive from something plausible and have a logical through line. Most of it doesn't. The closest you get is you will always have a minority that would deny scientific evidence. That's just fact. There's always an opposing view. But then the problem is, after confirming there is a comet to your country, you then say there isn't a comet anymore. And then everyone believes you anyway. And I don't understand that. And I don't understand that there are no political organisations like EU, NATO, UN that are involved. I don't understand why other countries had to. I don't understand why the president hasn't been impeached for blatantly lying to the public and endangering them. This isn't for someone doing a Trump character. Trump character, it screams to me this person has no idea of how politics work.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
you can
no,
see that
so-
they impeach they're trying to impeach Trump. It was just not getting approved, but it started the process, and it was getting voted in America while Trump was still president. But with this fucking faggot Meryl Streep, I guess she didn't die. She didn't get impeached. Didn't die. She didn't get fucking impeached. Like, okay, she's just lied about the entire to the public about the intentions with the comet, about whether the comet exists or not, which I don't even understand, because the point wasn't whether the comet existed or not, but they start the Don't Look Up movement anyway. I don't understand how that worked. Oh yeah, and there's also the AI they talk about that it can predict how, with 96.5% accuracy of how someone will die, but it cannot predict but it cannot predict like that the mission would fail, but they also can't fucking I guess make an AI that can actually control the syncing systems for the devices they use to try to destroy the meteor, the comet. The comet. Like they just cannot control that. I like they have no idea. Like the fucking technology they have in this universe is so incredibly inconsistent that it just kind of makes the entire point pointless. Just a big issue I have with the film. Yeah, I must have known they were gonna leave Earth for the other planet, and the president's gonna die there. But know why they did. Yeah, it's like stupid. I don't understand. Let's see, what other fucking fantastic writing is there in this fucking film? There is the fact that the entire message is just boils down to like Sam Wilson's speech at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, where he's just like, do better.
It pretty much is, yeah.
Because like the idea is, as an allegory for global warming, it's supposed to be like, okay, so in real life, global warming is an issue that a lot of people ignore and just don't take seriously, which, is true. A lot of people do that. But in the film, the comet, there is an obvious solution, an obvious and simple solution to their problem that they just do not try to implement. But that is not the case in fucking real life about climate change. There's not an obvious and easy solution about climate change that we can just implement if we all agree that it exists and is a problem. Because yeah, no shit, it's a fucking problem, and everyone agrees with that. I don't think there's anyone who's like, I don't think global warming exists. Like, obviously there's this small minority, like Jeb was saying, most people aren't retarded. And so the film trying to, in Leonardo DiCaprio scene in the TV in fucking news with Kate Blanchett and that dude, wherein he's like, oh, why aren't you fucking taking this seriously? We fucked up and whatever. And it's just like, it's not giving any real meaningful message in that scene, because the idea of, oh yeah, we could have just stopped the comet, but we didn't do anything, is not the same with climate change, because of like our people who have lived like for centuries ago, they didn't have the knowledge about climate change that we do now, that they could have just stopped, because that's the allegory they're trying to do. So I don't understand the way this film is trying to go by saying that it's the same thing, because it's clearly not.
Can we normalize Hollywood films not speaking about these issues without research?
Pretty
Please. Like, there is a reason why we're having COP 26 and all that, where countries just aren't finding solutions. Part of it is due to country politics or not enough funding and such. But if you ask any needed scientist into this, they have ideas, but they don't know how effective it will work. They just know we have to stop this, this, or this. But then we have to think, okay, what can we replace it with? What's viable? What will the mass do? Climate changes.
Climate change
Oh,
is
is
not
that?
as simple as the film is trying to make it out to be, which is something that annoys me a lot in the film. They think it's
It's not
just,
even.
oh yeah, we're all gonna get together and it's easy to save. It's just acknowledge that it is an issue and then we work from there. It's like, no, we know it's an issue, but how do we fix it? And the film's just like, no, but as long as you acknowledge it's an issue, then, taking a step forward. But it annoys me.
And Neb raised a good point. When we were discussing it with him, he was like, "Okay, but who's this film really for?" Because the people watching it, most of them are going to be like, "Okay, but how can we stop this?
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't provide solutions. This shows humanity are doing stupid things, but that only goes towards the minority." I think as a collective, we agree, climate change is a real issue. We don't know what to do,
Mm-hmm.
and to an extent, it's not on the public mass to know what to do or to read up on it, so forth. We need better leadership. We need to be led by science and explained and taught in a way that's accessible for all, so then we could do those solutions.
Yeah, you can't just say that, it is an issue. You need to have these people actually try to work out a solution. Which, is like what I was saying is like fucking Falcon and a Falcon Winter Soldier being like, do better, Senator. Yeah, thanks. I will try to do better. But how? Like, you can't just keep saying, oh yeah, do better, do better. That's not going to do anything. And that's the issue where if you compare the way that a comet is, where it's like, yeah, you just divert its direction and then it's not going to hit Earth, to being like, oh yeah, climate change. There's not a simple solution. So how do we fix it? You can just say, oh yeah, we had an easy way, but we didn't do it. And that's kind of what annoys me, because I thought that scene where he was like ranting during the news was like the best scene in the film in terms of like how his character was written and how it all fits within the narrative. But from like a meta standpoint, from like the allegory the film is trying to make, it makes no sense. That it's just being like, yeah, we will fix it if we acknowledge it's an issue, which was never the issue in the first place. So yeah.
And what doesn't help is, so for example, one of the things they're critiquing is we are so obsessed with trivial things around celebrities. We have a glorification of them, and celebrities making comments on situations that are so trivial that they don't understand. So what do? They market Ariana Grande's in the film and get her to have a major side role.
Mm-hmm. And also get her to, her fucking concert in the film, which contradicts the entire point about celebrities. She's like, oh yeah, now the world's ending and we could have just saved it, but we didn't listen to the scientists and, we fucked up. Like, wow. So you're criticizing how these people speak out against issues that they have no knowledge about, and you have this character doing a fucking concert about an issue that she knows nothing about, and that she has stood on the other side of because she was fucking stupid before. So it's like, wow, you're just genuinely contradicting that point.
I just can't believe the opening 5 minutes I was watching it, I was like, wait, they're being accurate. This is how they do measure comments. This is exactly how I'd expect the response to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second they meet that president, it went to shit. And I was like, oh
yeah, they spent fucking 7 hours in the White House, and it's like, oh, yeah, but you're gonna come tomorrow because she didn't have time to meet with you today. Does she know what's happening? Yeah, she does. Oh, so she knows the entire world is ending and she's not gonna do anything. Thank you. That's very nice.
It's written by a toddler. I'm not gonna lie. That's what it feels like.
Which is weird because Adam McKay's like, he's written very good stuff. He's working on really good stuff like Succession, which was odd. You've watched all of it, right?
I have, yeah. I saw it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, like doesn't
it's extremely good.
Yeah, like I've watched 2 episodes of season 1, but like the way it's dealing with the aspects of like that company and the politics of all of it seems to be really accurate. And then you have the fact that he also worked on The Big Short, which I think is a really good film.
Yeah, I saw that recently as well. That's excellent, basically.
Yeah, the way it explains, I guess, the 2008 economic crisis. It's just like, wow. And this is the same guy that fucking made Don't Look Up. Kind of seems like, I don't know. It seems weird to me that he just became so bad so suddenly. So yeah. The first few minutes before they arrived at the White House, I mean, they were fine. It's like, yeah, you're establishing a bit of character for these two, and that the world's about to end, and that's it. And then when they meet the president, it's like everything goes to shit because the president's fucking stupid in every single way. Like, I think in the rant that Jab did, I compared it to Kingsman 2, but even Kingsman 2 did that better because the fucking president was actually trying to look as if he was doing something, as opposed to just in this film, where it's just like, no, I don't care. I'm just gonna do something after fucking photos of me naked leak, after a relationship with a porn star leaks. It's like, what the fuck is this film even about anymore? Like, she's just completely ignoring the issue. It just seems like it's trying to criticize so many aspects of society and politics that it completely doesn't understand.
Surely, if you're president and you have something like this brought to you, you're going to be like, right, let's get our best people looking into this, and if the science actually does hold up and it's true, then we can do something about it, and it'll fucking skyrocket our approvals. And if it turns out to be nothing, then that's fine. But you don't just ignore it.
Yeah, it's a win-win. It's literally a win-win for the president. She picks the lose option somehow. I don't... Like, for the people that haven't seen it, I'm going to explain the progress of this stellar president. So we meet her. She's clearly not interested. She'd rather party, deal with irrelevant things. She has corruption. She does lobbying with the richest organization and relies on that for her presidency. And she's in a scandal in hiring a porn star that she has sexual relations with as a Texas senator, I think. Either way, something to do with Texas. They meet her. She goes, "Oh, I can't help because the midterms are coming up. I need my approvals to keep up then." And then when the scandal gets out with the Texas person, her approvals go down. She then contacts them and goes, "Oh, I want to do this plan to get my approvals up." She throws this huge thing about them going to stop the comment, a huge conference, how they're America and everything. And then the rich guy comes in, she goes back on that plan, she takes his plan and pretends the comment never existed. Then that plan fails, and then she goes to the bunker thing and ends up thousands and thousands of years in the future on the alien planet.
The thing is, I watched another show recently that has a very similar sort of self-interested, just awful president, although awful in a more sort of realistic sense, which is Veep. And she would absolutely have done something about a fucking comet coming towards Earth. But the whole point is she's presented as just a terrible person. She only cares about herself. Don't give a fuck about the people. But yeah, and she's massively incompetent. But yeah, even she would know that a comet heading towards Earth is a bad thing, and doing something about it would be good. It's the easiest concept to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if you want to make the argument, I'm not saying you are lazy spy, but if someone wants to make the argument, well, this is a different universe, because I'm sure someone will. The problem is, it's trying so hard to be derived from our world, and it makes all these connections, has all these positions, even has like a studied response, that it's kind of like, well, I've got no choice but to compare it to our world here.
Pretty much. Right, because there's no other point, right? The only point the film is making is about our world. Because if you don't compare it, then this world is like comical to an extent that it makes impossible to understand and attach any meaning to.
Yeah, the whole reason the satire is meant to work is because of how it reflects our own society and world, but it doesn't at all.
Mm-hmm. The people who made the film want to feel like they're doing something by calling attention to a problem. They're not doing anything about it. It's a form of elaborate protest as well. Pretty much. It's been like, yeah, there's an issue. I am mad about it. And that is all the extent I'm going to go to talk about the issue.
Which is obviously fine if you want to go, okay, we have an issue, especially with activists. And if this was a novel thing that people just aren't aware of, I would have been fine. But climate change isn't divisive at all. Like,
it's divisive in the sense of like there's a small minority. It's like Nell was saying, it's kind of like flat earthers, though they are a bigger minority than flat earthers. But yeah, they're like the people who deny climate change. It's just they're such a small minority that it doesn't ultimately matter. Everyone agrees that climate change is bad.
Also, it was. Why not do a film about fucking climate change problems? I don't understand. Like I keep every time it gets brought up, I'm getting pissed off. But every time it gets brought up, like that this is a film about a comet and it's meant to be a climate change allegory, I'm like, why don't you just write a climate change based film? You didn't need, you don't need to make any connections through the comet. This is easier for you. Well, what's the point of fucking having a comet if you're doing a climate change movie? People are not going to get the allegory as easy. You just fucking shoot yourself in the foot. It's like Marcus you gave an idea, for example, of a nuclear holocaust, and that would have been great. Like how to survive these nuclear conditions, or like showing a documentary type thing where you're seeing common people, the public, middle class workers suffering, and you're seeing that the media's twisting it in some kind. Politicians are downplaying the issue to make people aware that actually part of the issue is the media and the politicians. And we need to also deal with that as we deal with climate change, otherwise we're not going to make progress. It's like, and the thing is, it's a really interesting concept of a film. If I gave to you, okay, we have a world-ending disaster that's coming imminent, and there's these two people who are underestimated, they're not getting believed because of corrupt media, corrupt politicians, and they have to try and embark on a journey to get listened to. And by then it's too late. I'm like, this is a great idea. But this film decides to fucking rape that idea and produce this shit.
It's meant to be frustrating that nobody's listening to him, and yeah, it is, but it's for the wrong reasons. Like, people aren't listening for. It's like fucking. I did break. That's what this film fucking does to me.
He thinks he was not opposite at all in the state of climate change judges. How? Like, even if we go, we are not the main cause of climate change, or we are not a significant cause, or whatever, there is no denying that we're an absolute factor.
Yeah,
even in the natural
the idea that I've
process.
learned from just like teachers teaching me is that climate change is like it is happening, it would happen anyway. However, we are accelerating the process, and that's the issue. Is that we shouldn't accelerate the process because otherwise we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot.
Exactly, because it's like with anything geological, there's a natural process. So the reality is, we as humanity, due to where we do mass harvesting, mass CO2 emissions, and other pollutants, we're changing how Earth has always geographically worked, and that obviously has a knock-on effect. Just our impact alone is set to cause a magnetic field flip to come earlier than expected, for example. Natural disasters are worse than they should be. And if the only argument you could make against climate change is, well, we're not entirely 1,000,000% on these things, or how these things happen in a certain pattern, because some of them are so spread out. But even then, there's enough to go, okay, this is a concern.
Indeed.
I don't know. I don't get people who say we have zero impact and it's just nature, as if there isn't like a combination of the two.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seems weird to me, like, because there's studies that show the impact we have on the world. It's not hard to completely, that you will just understand how it works. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, so even looking at it logically, if we present Earth as the foundation and then we add variables, as soon as you start adding humans onto that layer, you'll now get 2 layers of the same thing. Add maybe another species, you've got 3 layers. It's like, if you remove us, this wouldn't be the same. Categorically, it can't be.
Mm-hmm.
Any action we do that adds to something will always speed up that progressive subform. I'm not even a geologist. I did study geography.
You
I'm just
did?
really into. Yeah, not like during college and uni, but during my GCSE, I got a B. A star in my coursework, which was about climate change, funnily enough.
Mm-hmm.
So
To be fair,
I'm
most
not
of the
really a
people who can
professional.
incite valuable change in terms of the climate crisis protests day in and day out, then hop in their private jets and run their factories without batting an eye. Well, yeah, that's kind
Exactly.
of the issue. It's exactly what this film is doing. You have any idea how much this film costs? Chat. Do you want to know what the budget for Don't Look Up is? Let us look up the budget, because
Well,
you're you're gonna want to
whilst you
die.
do that, I actually think the film should have focused on what Fort point out as well, because again, people just aren't aware of this.
Mm-hmm. Well, Don't Look Up cost $75 million. So, those $75 million are focused on making this film that goes against the cause you're working for, that doesn't actually have a meaningful message after all. What do you think could have been, how do you think that those $75 million could have been spent better in a way to improve the world in terms of climate change? It's like, the existence of the film completely goes against its message, because it's criticizing the exact same thing it's doing, and it's not doing it in a clever way. It's not doing it in a way that actually does help anything or should spread awareness. All it's doing being like, climate change is real and people deny it. Yeah, no shit. What did it do though? It's real, yeah, we know. China as a whole
China,
produces shit times the amount of greenhouse gases America. I don't want them to get down to like
uh,
2030.
we do, we do. They don't want
Yeah.
to. Um, the problem with cutting down emissions is not only does it rely on our multi-country agreement with all different politics, it's also the fact that, reality speaking, it is very hard to do economically, and this is what it kind of all boils down to. It's economics. Every country wants to do a solution that's financially viable, and a lot of them aren't accepting the proposition that you might have to sacrifice your economy growth for the sake of long term. Um, and I think that's a real pressing issue that the film doesn't also address. It actually doesn't deal with anything to do with economy, really.
Or with other fucking countries, which really annoyed me. It's like, the only thing that it does is like, in the end, they're like, oh yeah, because Russia and India and I don't remember what other country, they were cut off from, receiving some minerals from the comet. Then they tried to launch their own mission to stop the comet. But until then, they didn't try anything, and no other country did. And it's like, oh, that's the only mention you're gonna have of like economical value, and other countries trying to intervene. Kind of seems pointless. Kind of seems like the entire film should have been something about something like that. You know, like how the entirety of Doctor Strangelove is about politicians and world leaders trying to find a solution to the problem that would benefit the entire both countries while benefiting the entire world, as opposed to while saving the entire world, as opposed to just being fuck, my phone started ringing. As opposed to just being about these characters who like have nothing to do with the way that it's being dealt with. Like the way we're focusing on these people who can't really do anything. It really annoys me. It's like, oh yeah, you're focusing on fucking Kate Blanchett's character, who's just a news reporter. Good for her. She definitely needs all that screen time. Or Ariana Grande, or Jennifer Lawrence's character, who just cannot get through to anyone. So it's like, oh, why are we focusing on her? It doesn't, like, because like the actual issue isn't being addressed. It's just showing, oh yeah, these characters exist and they're trying to get through, but nobody listens, as opposed to showing the actual world leaders trying to work out a solution that benefits them all, and then the issue comes from there.
Yeah, it's like even if we go by human history, let's use a classic example. And this is what annoyed me as well. There are countries that will just do shit to spite other countries. So let's use US and Russia. Because Russia got the first individual into space, I think man into space to be specific. America was like, okay, we'll have our own space race and we'll go to the moon. We'll beat you. And Russia was like, okay, we'll do that. And then both of them had the most technologically advanced era of that period, and only one of them obviously made to the moon first. So you can imagine what would happen if they would go, we're going to do something that would destroy the comet. Russia's just going to go, no, I want in on that. I want to beat them.
Just in terms of optics, yeah, like that'll make Russia be way more open to doing it, to wanting to destroy the comet, especially because like Russia has always had issue with the government and its people not really getting along, to say the least. In terms of optics, that would like really get the public behind them, which again comes back to, wow, the president didn't want you to destroy the comet in the beginning. Isn't that fucking stupid? So yeah.
I also think, as well, the film missed a neat trick, because as we were speaking, I was thinking this over. The thing that seems to bring a world together is
Seeing the
something.
actual comet.
Oh, I'm going to speak in like a general sense and use COVID as my analogy. What seems to bring the world together is that there's a clear either advantage to doing what they should be doing, or there's a clear disadvantage to the point they have to do something. And I think the film should have focused on that, like addressing that. Okay, what advantage does Russia have in helping out, other than we get to save the world? Because that's obviously the most basic thing. All countries agree on that. What does China get as a benefit? What does UK get as a benefit? What does Germany or France? And if I were to use an analogy, we look at it from a vaccine point of view, in which as soon as one vaccine was declared, all these others were like, okay, we got a vaccine. Now, that's not me saying it's a conspiracy, it's just a matter of a record that many countries wanted to get to the vaccine first so they could declare, use our vaccine, we get the most income, we help stop COVID and get respect. And that's what I think they should have done here, is that multiple countries are actually doing all these different solutions and they're not actually working together, and it shows, okay, we have solutions on how to stop the problem, but the issue is trying to unite together. Because that's the big issue of climate change. It isn't really trying to find the definitive solution, it's coming together with a united solution. So in this case, I would have US do the mining plan with the rich billionaire. Because they want to harvest minerals for scientific studies to prevent comets in future. Let's argue that. Russia wants to nuke the thing because they believe it will completely divert the comet trajectory. China wants to do their own solution. UK may back US because US and UK have good relations. There might be international bodies that might be arguing one another with their solutions, and they're all trying to show their pros and benefits, and the scientific community is even divided. That is what I think the film should be on. And then I think to underlay it,
Well, go on.
I'm almost there. To underlay that lack of unity, you should have the media gaslighting each side to cause division to drive media sales, and you have politicians arguing one another on what their solution should be. That's how you should do it. The lack of unity and the media gaslighting it with politicians arguing. You're welcome.
Yeah, well, the thing is, because the way you're basically describing it is the way that Dr. Strangelove does it, where we have like a commander who's like very much, you know, your typical like nationalist American who's been like, you know, we gotta prevail, and you know we can't give in to the Ruskies and whatever. And so the idea is because firstly the film starts with this a British general commander. I don't know exactly what rank he is, but he sends a code which means that these jets that are always like flying 24/7 that they should go and attack Russia, and that code is an override from the United States president authority, because it's about if like the override would happen if the Russians try to sneak attack on any sort of base. And so he used that to attack the Russians because of his beliefs about the Russians. And he wanted to destroy Russia because, they were like influencing Americans and trying to manipulate Americans and destroy the American, well, not American, but the Western way of life, basically. And so he locked down his base and cut out all communication so that nobody would be able to get the override code that would stop the attack. And so we have the president in like the Oval Office discussing with a bunch of people, and then we have this general who's, like I said, your usual typical nationalist American, who's like, well, if we because we can't stop the attack anyway, we should send some of our nukes to destroy Russia during this attack, because we'd be able to catch them with their pants down. Because if we attack them and with those jets flying there, and they retaliate, basically we're gonna end up with global annihilation. And so our best way to do it is to kill Russia. And then the president's like, no, there's always another alternative. And then he calls the Russian ambassador. And, there are different ideas of how to stop it. And then we have the fucking ex-Nazi scientist who's also in the room. And he has his own ideas. And the point being is, you have these different perspectives of how to handle the issue from these different types of people within the ranks of the American government, and the British government as well. They're shown in the film. And that's kind of what I'm getting from what you're saying, is like you show these different ways of dealing with the situation due to the different backgrounds, due to the different countries they're from, due to different goals they have within their upbringings, as opposed to simply having just only focusing on America like the film did. And so it would be a much better way to actually explore how politically that would be handled within like among countries, as opposed to just with the American president, who very clearly a Trump allegory. So yeah.
Exactly. I don't even understand how they came up with the idea that we should just do US, because I don't know how long this film has been writing for, but stuff like COP26 and agreements like climate change have been around for a few years now.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen already dividing perceptions on this, partially based on political bias. In any conflict, we see that. So I really don't understand why they didn't go on a wider scope. It would have immersed you in more, because the whole point of a world-ending thing is you deal with the consequences on a global scale. You don't do it just based on the nation. I care about
The film began shooting in April. No, it was going to begin shooting in April 2020, but it was delayed due to COVID. So it was filmed started filming in November 2020. So it would have been written in like 2019, 18 probably.
Alright, let me see when COP26 started, as even an idea.
Oh, here. The film was announced in November 2019. So probably wrote it 2018. I'm trying to find it.
Okay, so the last COP event that we had was in Madrid 2019. I think there was one before that. Yes, in 2018, and then was there one before that? Yep, in 2017. So the UN climate change conference has been a thing for years, and they know about that, and they know about the division and how ideas keep evolving. You literally have everything you need right in front of you to create a film out of.
Mm-hmm.
It's that easy. Why didn't? And it's not even like the argument of, oh, we want the film to be something else. It's also that we're not understanding the logic in picking a comet for this allegory when you literally have this allegory and a pool of ideas and a way to execute your message how you want it to be executed.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I want to move on to talking about the filmmaking of the film, but I don't know if we should. Maybe we can go back and forth, so whatever. But
Yeah, might as well tackle filmmaking.
yeah, because one thing
Yeah.
that annoyed me a lot, or two things, were the editing and the way the film was shot. Now, firstly, the lighting felt incredibly overbearing, like it was way too it wasn't diegetic, I guess. It was really fucking forced the way they lit the scenes, to being like, oh yeah, this is obviously we're going for this message with the way our scene is being lit, as opposed to just being very subtle, which, to be fair, the film isn't subtle at all, so kind of understand that. But yeah, that kind of annoyed me a lot. And there were some scenes, especially the scenes in when they were like in the fucking news shit, that really annoyed me. With how the lights were very bright, it felt like their faces were overexposed, which, like, it's not hard to make a fucking news scene look like normal. Because it's news, it's always lit the same way. It shouldn't be hard. But the thing that annoyed me a lot as well is in the scene I mentioned earlier about um about DiCaprio, like, ranting in this monologue during the news. That the way that scene was shot went completely against the entire point, because it made it seem like it was this big thing, that it was that it was DiCaprio, making the speech that everyone will see as in being very meaningful. But if you actually want the scene to be just like, it's him on the news freaking out, and you want to see it as people just are simply watching it, what you would do is you would have it as if you're watching the news. You'd have the news camera be the POV for the audience, and if you actually want to still continue using your joke about the fact that people are never paying attention to real issues, what you could have is, because the news always have those scrolling things in the background, which, say the upcoming news, you know what I mean, where it's like, oh, this is relevant news or whatever, and you could have that, and talking about fucking Ariana Grande breaking up with her boyfriend again, or whatever the fuck they're trying to say, while we have in the actual news Leonardo DiCaprio losing his fucking mind and ranting, because then you can still have your message, your joke about it, but you're not gonna lose the idea of. But you're gonna contribute to the idea of it being just simply Leonardo DiCaprio losing his mind, or people are just watching it and not really knowing how to process it because how detached they are from this issue. And so, like, the way the film was shot, it was shot like Melancholia is, like, fucking thick of it, like Succession is, which kind of like documentary light, which I get the idea behind, but the way they did it feels so completely detached from the people in the film, because it doesn't seem like these people are actually, like, living their lives. It seems like they're always in a set because of the way it's shot, the way it's lit, the way the camera is always so close to their faces, the way the insane close-ups. It really fucking annoyed me. So, yeah, that was fucking cringe, to say the least. And now I want to get an editing thing in the film that really fucking confused me. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, the editing is weird as well, because they randomly cut your shots of fucking bees during the entire fucking film, which is kind of like, oh yeah, this is just copying Lucy, right? That amazing film that everyone loves. And then there were random shots where just freeze frame at the end of the shot for absolutely no reason. That was interesting as well as an editing choice.
Oh yeah, I have no idea why they were doing that. That was bizarre. I kept thinking my Netflix was messing up.
I'm trying to find the exact moment that I want to choose stream, because there's a moment where it genuinely I went back and I was like, wait, did my Netflix fuck up?
That's what I was like.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the exact moment. It's a moment with that black scientist for the Turk from the Netflix shows. I think. But yeah, it's basically a moment where, like, he's saying something in the from, like, a wide shot at the dinner table, and then they cut to a medium close up of him, and his mouth is not moving, so it's at a different moment, and then it just freeze frames for like 2 seconds, and he's still talking over it. I'm like, okay, that was a choice. I think it's here.
This is my favorite film.
This is my favorite part. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like it's completely incompetent in every way, but
I didn't even choose to watch this film. I was made to.
yeah, we watched it by choice. Tin, Zod, and I to do this ECUM today,
Yeah.
so we sacrificed our sanity for the sake of this film.
Yeah, I
Because-
hope you're grateful.
Yeah. Fuck, it's the moment where they're just talking about coffee. I'm trying to find it. Or it's like, oh yeah, I ground my own coffee, you know? It's yeah. Is it here? Yeah, I think it is. Yep, I found it. Yeah, it's when they're talking about fucking pies and they how this dude prefers store-bought and homemade, which I found. Wow. Okay. So here, let me show this. Hopefully copyright doesn't hit us because it's not a long shot. So this is what I want to show.
To be honest, which at this moment, why not? I actually like the junky taste of store-bought better than homemade.
And that was actually in the film. I did not edit that. As you can see, I was watching it through Netflix. I have no idea how the fuck they thought that was a good idea for an editing choice. I genuinely don't have no clue what they were going for there. And it's just like, it's that kind of thing that was like throughout the film, and I'm trying to understand why they would do this. So, yeah. And then I guess there's the fucking mid-credit scene where they make it to another planet, the 23 almost 23,000 years into the future, and then they are attacked by a few fucking monsters. Well, the president is attacked by a monster that lives there, and then the monsters are all coming close to attack them, and that's when, you know, they cut away. So it's implied that all of them died, so that's fun. That's like, I don't understand what the point of having that scene was. But okay. Other than showing me that they have technology that can keep these people alive for 23,000 years, which kind of just means that the effect that their technology didn't work to destroy the comet, to break apart the comet and have it hit Earth safely, just makes no sense. But whatever. And then we have the post-credit scene where we find out that the president's son survived somehow. And he takes out his phone and he records himself being like, yo, I'm the last man on Earth, yo, like and subscribe. And that was hilarious. I was fucking dying laughing at that. It was so funny. Just, wow.
Amazing.
If anything, a message I'll take from that is we're all gonna die eventually anyway. Well, yeah, it's kind of one of the things I hate about the film is how cynical it is. Like, the way we do... Like, the way the film is going for, it's like, well, we're dying anyway. Just, like, we're all fucked. Just we're proposing a way of fixing it. It's just like, well, humanity's fucked, and the way we are, we're all gonna die. Like, okay, you're not proposing anything. Like, you're not showing any hope of how we can be better. You're just showing, oh, we're fucked. Thank you. Now, what do we do about this? Are we gonna, you know, improve? Do you have any way to improve? Or are you just ranting about it to no end, I guess? Like, I don't know, if I were making a film like this, I would definitely have some sort of hope about it, like, hopeful feeling about it. They're just like, you know, it's not all over. But it seems like the only hopeful bit is that in the dinner, but even then, it was all over anyway. They just accepted their deaths and had a fucking family dinner. Just like, okay, so I guess we just accept that we're all gonna die, thank you. I don't know.
Not gonna die. Yes.
Seemed like
pretty-
such a botch message.
It's pretty satisfying to watch Monster kill the president. I was too busy trying not to throw up.
Jeb
I'm
doesn't
not
like
even
seeing naked people.
I'm not even kidding. I was disgusted. I wanted to throw up at that point.
What's this movie? It is a fantastic Netflix original film that we all love, Jeb. Don't worry. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot in this film that is fucking stupid. Let me think, because there's definitely things that I wanted to bring up as well. I mean, for example, I think we mentioned earlier, but we didn't like go fully into it. But Leonardo DiCaprio's character is insanely fucking inconsistent with how he's like, worrying about the world ending, like just completely terrified that the world's gonna end. Should then go, well, I'm fucking Kate Blanchett now, and then I don't care. But actually, I do care. Oh, but my wife is leaving me because I've been, fucking Kate Blanchett. His wife
Oh.
that everyone forgot existed, by the way, because I genuinely did not remember he had a wife until she showed up. I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing.
I want to mention something. There was a scene where he was with Kate Blanchett in bed, and he was like, "Oh, what's about you?" And she mentions how she has a master's.
She has 3
and
masters.
that she's 3 masters and fucked 2 presidents. And he was like, "Oh, the 2 presidents." I'm like, "Bro, you're a scientist. The 3 masters should be like, what the fuck to you?"
Yep. That annoyed
You don't
me as well.
even.
Well, it's kind of they're making a point of like these characters focusing on the surface level shit as opposed to the actual substantive parts of human connection. But the thing is, you can't show that with a character that has formed human connections from the beginning and that sometimes has human connections, sometimes hasn't. Like the issue is how inconsistent you're making fucking Leonardo DiCaprio's character in this. It really annoys me.
Yeah, it's like, I get what they're trying to do. Go, this is what could happen to a scientist should they go down the route of being pragmatic or compromising, but it's so lacking nuance.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, so there's the fact that that he just flip-flops between actually wanting to save the world and just wanting success in his career and in his, fucking Kate Blanchett life. But then, like, at the end, after he gets confronted by his wife and she leaves him, and then he goes back to his wife at the end to just have a family dinner, which I thought was nice. It's like him acknowledging his faults, but just wanting to have a family dinner and not die as in like pure terror, but rather wanting to die as happy as a family, which I get, but it's out of character because he has panic attacks and whatever. Who cares about that anymore? And the fact that they did that, and then the wife is like, I also cheated on you when we were in high school, so get fucked. I was like, okay, thank you very much for contradicting the entire point of Leonardo DiCaprio getting confronted about cheating on his wife. Because like the entire point is that he's rejecting what actually is his, his substantive emotional connection, which is to his wife and to his kids, should just be with Kate Blanchett, who just represents the physical urges of like wanting to be with someone sexually. Just oh yeah, she's hot, and I'm successful now, so why should I be with this small town, fucking Michigan housewife? Why should I care about my family when that's what he should have cared for? And then she's like, well, I actually cheated on you anyway, so fair's fair. Oh, thanks for just showing that cheating is no big deal.
So what do you think about Katie? The one that comes names off. Second best character in the film.
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence. What's her?
Yeah,
Katie.
No, that's not her name.
It is. It's Katie.
Is it?
Wasn't it just Kate?
I think it's Katie.
Let me
Katie.
check. I am checking right now. Don't look up. Her character's name is Kate. Kate DBS.
Kate. Close enough. She was fine.
Her character was mostly consistent. The issue I had was she was just like, I don't care anymore when the FBI caught her. It's just like, I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna agree to not do anything about it, which I thought was weird. Thought she would have fought more, especially when that was right after Randy was made chief of science or some shit, like part of the president's staff, pretty much. So it would have been easier for her to fight against that with Randy now in a position of way more power. But she was the most reasonable character, I guess, in the film. But the best character is Timothy Chalamet, easily.
Jonah Hill's character is absolutely perfect.
Oh yeah, I love him. He he wants to fuck his mom, and that is his entire character. He also doesn't like Kate because she cried. So yeah. Generally,
Oh,
that's the extent of his character. I can't think of anything else.
That is pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah.
every
Some of
scene
that.
he was in, I just eye rolls. I was like, this is going to waste time, and I know it is. Because that's the point of comedy as well in satire. You either do it to show more about your character or to progress the narrative.
Mm.
You don't do it in a vacuum.
Yeah, you don't do it for absolutely no reason. So when you have fucking Jonah Hill's character saying, "Oh yeah, I asked the FBI to put a bag over your head when they were bringing you over," it's like, okay, what is the point of this? I know you do not like Kate. No shit, nobody likes Kate in this film. Cool. Why does this matter? And that's kind of what I felt with a lot of the film. Like when we had the fucking news scene with Ariana Grande having the interview and then talking to fucking boyfriend just before Randy and Kate came on, to talk about the global warming, not the global warming, the fucking comet. I was like, okay, why are we wasting time on this? If you actually want to show like how vacuous it is, we have already shown that she's going to be interviewed before they are. They've already shown that they're going to talk about her new single. They're going to talk about her ex-boyfriend. You don't need to actually show the scene of them doing the thing that you have already said they are going to do.
Yeah, just show it for a few seconds at most, and then just cut forward. We don't need to see the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's just not relevant to anything.
Yeah, and like if you actually want to, yeah, like I said, just like if you actually want, because like you don't need to show you, just showing them behind the scenes already works. But if you actually want to show them from the Randy's POV. You see him looking at Ariana Grande, and she's like, "Oh yeah, no, but this breakup has made me, focus on my music, and I've written a new single." And then you just focus pull to Randy, and then he's talking to Kate about something like having a panic attack or some shit, and then you actually have more character for Randy and Kate, or you can do anything else with that time and just not waste it, or just show that he's like kind of panicking, and then you cut to them being interviewed, you cut to them calling them to come to talk to the news reporters. Like, you don't need to show this kind of thing, and the entire film is filled with these pointless fucking jokes. Like, they've already wasted time enough by showing, for fuck's sake, Neb, they've already wasted time enough by showing that, like, the president wasted 7 hours of their time in a day. Why do you have to wait until the next day to have them meet? You've already made the point of the president not taking this seriously. Just have them meet at the end of the day. I don't need another 10 minutes until they actually meet with the president. Like, what is it going to change if you have it be at the end of the day or beginning of the next, other than adding a few pointless fucking scenes? Because all they had was, like, they were calling... Kate was calling her boyfriend, and Randy was calling his wife. But neither scene does anything for the plot because they can't tell them anything because it's confidential due to being like presidential secrets or whatever. So again, what is the point? Why are you wasting our fucking time with these useless fucking scenes? And it's so much of that during the entire film. It is so annoying. Which would be better if the comedy was good, but it's not, so.
I can't even buy the premise that an entire scientific community agrees on this one singular fact on the solution.
Didn't Kate in the news, in their interview, be like, yo, like hundreds of world-renowned scientists have reviewed it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, you understand that this is very unprecedented in the community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like... the fact that as well, the person who runs NASA, she was like hiding everything because she worked closely with the president. It's like, wow, congratulations. This makes no sense. NASA would never do this. Like, NASA's first priority should defend. It would be to defend the world from that comet. I don't care what she would say. What this person said, and then like, doesn't she as well? Isn't she like an anesthesiologist or some shit as well? That they said. I was like, okay, I don't think that'd be the case. To like when you're having with a person who runs NASA, just an anesthesiologist and someone who knows nothing about astrology, astronomy.
Yeah, that just won't happen.
Yeah. So yeah, again, it's so many fucking stupid things in this film to make the plot work, which it doesn't at all.
It's like the fact that this got scaled up so quickly to the president. It's kind of like you're already displaying a president that president president that this is going to be a widely accepted thing, and then you go against that fact. You should have it hard. Either it is accepted, but again, the issue is what sushi do we do, or you should have them ignored.
Yeah, it's I don't get what the film was doing.
That was me during the whole time.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, because after I finished yesterday, I'm like, this is so bad. It's hard to put into words because it's so devoid of actual meaning to what it's doing. It's, you know.
It's your typical. I hate to sound like as neurotic and that. It's your typical Hollywood virtual signaling, doing the bare minimum to an actual issue, and then doing a disservice to it.
Pretty much.
Like, as a neurotic, focus on this.
The irony. Last week we covered as saying how brain dead stupid he is, and this week we sound like him. Irony if my name is ECUM.
I was gonna make that joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember other issues because I didn't take notes. I just watched the film last night, but
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, and because like after I finished, I was like, yeah, let's watch Melancholia because I've heard that film is good, and it turns out it does a lot of the same things really right. It's Doctor Strangelove the same. It's just I don't get how hard it is to write a film. Like, yeah, like the Don't Look Up movement, for example. So like, when they finally see the comet and getting close, they're like, bruh, just look up. And they record a video, fucking Kate and Randy. And then it becomes a movement titled Just Look Up or whatever. And by doing that, the president is like, no. They're lying to you, you know, these liberals. They're telling you to look up. But no, don't look up. Because it is no threat to us. But it's like, what? We know, everyone knows there's a comet. The movement shouldn't be called Don't Look Up. What you should be campaigning for is the idea that you are dealing with it and you have a plan to deal with it that has already been publicized, that everyone knows about. So what is the problem with just being like, oh no, yeah, there is a comet, we know, it's all been planned, don't worry about it, our plan is going to work and we're going to be able to get the minerals from the fucking comet. It's like, what were people expecting in that universe? Because there were people who were supporting the president due to creating new jobs with the comet hitting and then, you know, getting the minerals from the comet. If that's the case and they know the comet is going to hit anyway, it's just going to be fragmented. And if it's going to be fragmented, it has to be close enough to Earth to a point where it won't like, fuck, I forgot the word. It won't like, fuck, I forgot completely. Oh yeah, to the point where like the fragments aren't just gonna like not hit Earth. You know, it has to be close enough to to a point where it's not knocked off course. So yeah, it's gonna get close to Earth, but they're gonna destroy it with Peter's, you know, fake Steve Jobs's fucking plan. And so I don't understand how the commotion for the Just Look Up movement started, and I understand why the Don't Look Up movement was needed in the first place in this fucking film.
That was a weird moment when, like, Jonah Hill's at that rally, and then you just have all these rednecks, and then one of them looks up and sees this massive fucking streak in the sky as if it's not been there all night.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the hell?
It's just like, oh my god, you lied to us. And then everyone starts throwing bottles at Jonah Hill, and then they cut his face, and it's like, wow, no shit.
Yeah, they just suddenly turned from that.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
It's like, yeah, no shit, they lied to you. You've known this. We've known about this comment for 6 fucking months. Stupid. Yeah, that film is annoying. I'm trying to remember other issues I had. Oh yeah, one thing that I found funny as well in this dinner scene is just kind of like how the actors didn't react to the apartment getting blown up by the fucking impact from the comet. It was like the clearest fucking. Oh yeah, they just shot this in front of a green screen and they didn't bother to actually have the actors react to it. So yeah, that was funny.
God, that looked bad.
Yeah, that looked really bad. CGI in this film is honestly just really bad all around. It was really funny, especially with this. I'm pretty sure this is like Netflix's most expensive project. So yeah.
The random,
good use of money.
What are we gonna say, Jeb?
the random animal shots was amazing.
Yes. The shots where it shows like this like it shows like beautiful nature and like animals, and it just shows humans picking up trash, and it's like wow, so
It is so deep, isn't it?
like you can like. I've seen a lot of like like humans are the real monsters and messages in films, but all I can see is this is just at least in other times they actually put a little bit of subtlety into it.
Yeah, I mean, there's one thing that I have planned for us to watch. I won't say what yet because spoilers, but that does the same concept really well of just like having shots of nature and showing the kind of point of just like how we're kind of destroying the not nature but like our environment through that. Just showing the beauty of nature and shit like that. Yeah.
Just that would work like if it was a film about climate change. But it's a film about a comet come to destroy the world, so it's not really us that's going to do the destroying. So
yeah,
you're kind of wasting it there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, I'm just confused. Why did they have that Jonah Hill post-credit scene? Like, I get that there was the joke, I'm going on YouTube asking people to like and subscribe after the entire world has ended. But genuinely, what is the point? How does it add in any way to the message of the film? Like whatsoever?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Like the best you could do is people are so interested in social media and such. Even in this situation, they still use it. But mate, what?
Something I also thought that was a missed opportunity is because during Ariana Grande's concert is how she started like her song was like firstly metaphors and then she started just going like extremely explicit to it, being like, oh yeah, we didn't listen to the fucking scientists now or we're all gonna fucking die. And I thought that would be really funny if the film was like up to that point was being really subtle, and by that point she was being extremely explicit to how everyone fucked up. But it's like the film had been so unsubtle by that point. It's like, oh yeah, this is just the way this world behaves. So I thought it was like, it's such a missed opportunity. There's so many missed opportunities with this film. Fucking cringe. Let's see. As well. Oh yeah. Also, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but what is the point of having Ariana Grande's concert there? Like, how does it add anything to their cause?
But she did good for those people that died in a terrorist attack, so we thought we'll copy that.
Fair. That's very fair. Yeah.
It's just another example of just dragging stuff out, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like it could have worked in like a montage thing, but no, I had to see the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like the film either was too fast with the points that it had to develop more, or too slow with the points that it just like we got after 2 seconds. So it's really terrible fucking pacing. Oh yeah, the Chris Evans joke, that was interesting. How it was just inserted in the middle of the film with no rhyme or reason, didn't come back again. It's like, yeah, I get the point you're making here about, people, celebrities want to stay neutral, quotation marks, and like they simply want to appeal to more people to make more money. But while they're making projects that are like incredibly political. But like, if you actually wanted to do something like that, couldn't you have like establish it in the beginning of the film, establish the character who's doing that, or you have a character who's already been in the film be a part of a project like that. Like, just throwing in a random scene with fucking Chris Evans in this like popcorn flick, being talking about how the world is so divided right now. It's like, I don't care. This doesn't do anything for the film. Just cutting away from like what actually matters in terms of the plot. And sorry, Jeb, I cut you off. What were you gonna say?
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something.
That's good.
Okay.
It was something about jokes. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. I don't like how Zach and Nuance the sides keep changing on like the comment. Social media all for the comment, then they're suddenly not. When actually it'd be a blend of the two. If they see Ariana Grande speak about the comment, that's going to do a lot for the belief of it. And if they see a politician speaking out against, you need to show more division rather than keep flipping between the two.
Yeah, it showed the same fucking accounts saying the exact same fucking thing. Being like, oh yeah, fuck the comment. Oh, actually, no, there is a comment. Actually, there isn't. Oh, actually, the world's about to die. Just, yeah. Again, a very binary view, I guess, of how society interprets these events, especially in social media, when it's just not the binary. Alright. There was something else I wanted to say, and I forgot. Fuck. It was something about the Chris Evans thing that reminded me of something else, but I forgot, so hey, that happens. Oh yeah, or about like Rome Perlman's character when he's just like this incredibly racist and homophobic guy, and like that's never made a point of. It's just a joke, I guess. Like I don't understand what the point of making him that was. Like, yeah, there is a joke because he's homophobic and he's racist and whatever, but he is the American hero, so that's funny, I guess, because yes. And
yeah, I didn't understand it either.
Yeah.
No real need for it.
There was something, oh yeah, also there was something that I thought was weird. Randy, when they're about to launch, he says that everything is impossible until you do it. And I thought, as a scientist, that seemed like a really weird statement.
I said this. I was like, hang on a second.
Like,
what do you think a theoretical physicist is?
Yeah, it's the exact opposite if you're a scientist. I don't understand. Like, if you're a scientist, you're not gonna say everything is impossible until you do it. It's no. You have theories to prove whether something is possible or not, and therefore you take chances based on the probability, which is the point. You're not just gonna do something if you believe it is impossible. If they actually believed it was impossible, then they wouldn't go through with this fucking mission, would they? Again, Randy's a stupid fucking character. Also, like, I want to talk about the cast in this film because it's insane the amount of fantastic actors that are in it and how everyone is so fucking shit. It's actually baffling how bad the acting is for so many fantastic actors. Like, fucking Meryl Streep was garbage in this film. Like, actually fucking poop. Shit. Yeah, I said poop. Fuck off. Yeah, she was so bad. Ah, man. Like, again, I think the only actors that I thought did a good job were like Timothy Chalamet, fucking J Law, I guess she was fine, and DiCaprio, though his performance was weird because his character was so inconsistent that it's like weird to like get a grasp on what his character actually is, you know. Oh yeah, sorry, go on.
Recognizing all these other like famous people getting cameos like Chris Evans and Ron Perlman and Michael Chiklis and stuff. Why are you all in this?
Well, like, the thing is, I understand having DiCaprio. He's very outspoken about like climate change and those kinds of issues, and so like, yeah, I understand why he would be a part of this project. But the thing is, there's so many fucking amazing actors, and how can all of you read the script and be like, yeah, no, this is amazing. I'm gonna sign on for it. Or was it just they wanted money because of how big the budget was? Netflix was just like, sure, let's pay all of you.
Money.
Yes.
Might be a mix of both. And celebrities aren't the smartest people around, to be honest.
Yeah.
They sign for dumb shit all the time, so.
That's fair, yeah. I mean, there were actors who signed on for old, so you know.
Yeah. It might be a case of they thought the message was fine and they also need money.
That's fair.
Yeah,
One thing I
it's
wanted
alright.
to say, Himish Patel's character, he was there for like 2 minutes, and he was so fucking pointless. It's like, yo, I'm dating J Law's character. Well, actually, people don't like her anymore. She's gone crazy. I'm going to break up with her by doing a fucking article by talking about how she's the devil, and then, fuck's sake, Neb.
Christ.
All right. So anyway, I'm gonna do an article talk about how she's the devil, and then at the end of the film, he's like, I still exist, and that is my entire purpose in this film.
He's way too good of an actor for a role like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Like him in fucking Tenet or yesterday is like, wow, you're really wasting him. Oh yeah, the one joke that I thought was actually funny was when they got to the fucking president's office and there was a picture of her and Steven Seagal. Like, hey, that's a nice detail. You did not draw too much attention to it. It's just a picture of her and Steven Seagal. Which is funny because Steven Seagal has like loads of pictures with like famous people, like with fucking Putin and shit like that. So I thought that was nice. That was a nice show.
Yeah.
I think those are the issues I brought up yesterday while I was watching. Yeah. Basically, the biggest issue that this thing is, the biggest issue that this film has is how it wastes so much time on pointless shit to a point where even if the message it was trying to go for was coherent, you just don't care because it's doing so much random bullshit that does not help at all get the point of the film, I guess. So, yeah. What do you think Chris Evans's best performance is?
This film.
Yes, definitely.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah, no, me neither. I don't know what his best performance is. I really like him in a few things. He's probably Avengers 2012. I don't know. He's good in a few things, but I haven't seen him too much.
I actually think even though the films aren't that good, I really like him in Civil War and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
I'd say he's better in Winter Soldier, but I have a thing against his acting in Civil War. I find it kind of off, I guess. He's good in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World though. I find him hilarious in that.
So, oh yeah.
Best cameo. I also need to watch Snowpiercer. But yeah.
Oh yeah, he's really good in that,
yeah. Yeah, I think he's a fine actor. I think he gets miscast a lot though. So that is my take. Make it that way.
Seeing as Buzz Lightyear will be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be good, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Also, he was fun as Ransom in fucking Knives Out. Even though that film is really shit. So yeah.
I still haven't seen that one.
You shouldn't. It is painful. It is actually painful. Yeah.
Unfortunate.
But yeah, I don't know if there's much more to say. Jab, do you have a lot more to say about Don't Look Up?
I've just never seen politics butchered so bad. I really haven't. It's like going on Twitter.com for 2.5 hours straight, looking at political opinions by people that don't even know what capitalism is.
Pretty much. I'd say that's a fair way to describe it.
I just think it's everything wrong with Hollywood in one film. Minus the one of the characters sounds like a pedophile.
He does, to be fair, yeah. One of the things
Yeah.
that I think too is like, because the film was definitely just trying to appeal to the perception everyone has of the world, and then people are like, oh yeah, no, this is exactly what would happen. This is exactly what would happen IRL if the same thing happened, or oh, if you see how we handled COVID, you're gonna see the same thing. It's like, it's not really. If you pay any attention to what the film is trying to do, that's not how it would go in real life, because it's just not how it works with a fucking comet, which again is why the fucking analogy doesn't work at all. So it's just completely destroying its own narrative, which, yeah, not fun.
Has Ryan Johnson ever made a good film? Yeah, he
Yeah.
made Don't Look Up.
Sure. He made Brick. It's his first film. It is great. Unironically phenomenal film with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I recommend. It's really good. Does kind of have a
Also-
weird premise though, that if you want to accept it, if you have to kind of like really suspend your disbelief to accept it, but it is pretty good.
Also, watch The Last Jedi. I heard that's really good.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
love
yeah,
that
of
film.
course.
Oh yeah, fucking phenomenal. Best fucking Star Wars film ever.
Yeah. I like Snowpiercer. Yeah, I've heard it's good, even though it is critical of capitalism, and I am ANCAP. I do think it could be a very interesting film. I don't know if we have much more to say today, because the thing about Don't Look Up is I don't think it's worth us going chronologically through it, because it is so fucking shit that we just kind of talk about it more generally, I guess. So, yeah. Shorter stream today.
But
If you guys have
I
anything
don't want
else
to
to
say.
say. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say if you want like some media that actually does politics in a not terrible way, anything by RTD,
Yes.
like Years and Years, It's a Sin, sort of, a very English scandal, even Doctor Who to an extent. Armando Iannucci as well, like Veep, The Thick of It, In the Loop, and yeah, just any of that stuff. Also, Succession. Yeah, look up any of those, and you'll have a much better time with them.
But wait, we're not supposed to look up.
That is a good point.
I hate myself for that joke.
That was a fantastic joke, Tim.
I hate you too, so don't worry.
Years and Years is basically this, that, but it's a lot better.
Yeah. Go on,
Compared with Vivian,
it's by RTD, so it's going to be like a million times better.
Yeah,
just
hard to
by
be
default.
worse. Yeah.
yeah, like compare Vivian Rook to the president in this.
She's actually
yeah.
a really good character. She actually has depth to her, and she's been forced to do it.
Yeah, it's
Like
so much better.
like you can tell she feels a bit like a bit like a Boris Johnson sort of parody, but she isn't over the top or like over the top like stupid or anything. Like she feels a bit more. She feels real. Like she feels like it could be a real politician. The president don't look up.
Well-
It feels like some retard walked out of an insane asylum and put on a suit and said, "Hey, I'm the president now."
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the thing, because like I was watching earlier, fucking Doctor Strangelove, and the president in that film, he's very cartoonish as well, especially in the way he deals with the Russian president, in the way where he calls him, he's like, oh no, especially because the Russian president is also played as a joke, and they're like, oh no, Dimitri, I also call you because I want to know just how you are, but the thing that's going on right now is very important. We got to talk about that. Just kind of like making a joke about like relations between these presidents, and how like the you know what I mean? It's like these presidents like colluding behind the scenes, which is something that a lot of public political relations do, that just stays behind the scenes, so that actual like publicly their views of these countries isn't like the same as it is in like behind the scenes. And I thought that was really interesting because like that president, the American president in the film is made kind of like as a pushover and just listening to these characters going back and forth and talking about this shit. But he's still like not incompetent to a point where he does disagree with that dude I mentioned earlier, like the supernaturalist one. When he says that he wants to destroy Russia, and he's like, no, there's a peaceful resolution to all this, which kind of fucks them over because at the end anyway, the world doesn't end up getting destroyed by the Russians' doomsday device, and so like you can still have these parodies and satirizations of real life politics without making the characters insanely incompetent to a point where it's hard to take the satirization seriously because these characters are just way too cartoonish to be anything other than cartoons. Like they're not actual characters. It's kind of the point. So yeah. On an unrelated note, I'm getting sick of seeing all the eternal slander I've been seeing. A channel that I've been subbed to recently. Thanks, Chap. Gave it a 2 out of 10 review and totally misrepresented it. He even had the nerve to thought his video Eternals the best MCU movie, but it was a review that completely trashed it. I mean, most people hate the film. Okay, Jeff. Okay, Jeff. Most people really hate Eternals. We're probably going to talk about Eternals again soon, so yeah. Oh yeah, and Filmmaking did make an Eternals video that people have been asking us to cover, so... Jeb, I'm gonna mute you.
Kind of funny coincidence. To my channels where I've got like time on in the background.
No times. I'm looking at his channel. Did he make a video praising Shang-Chi? Oh, there was a clickbait title. He didn't like Shang-Chi, so he's half-based, I guess. Because if you don't like Shang-Chi, that's fine. But yeah. I don't know if there's anything else to say. I think that is all we have for today. Shorter stream, but
If
it happens.
If you want to watch Don't Look Up and any of you find it good, DM me and I'll get you swatted. I promise.
Okay, swatted. All right, that's fair. That's fair. So yeah, thanks everyone for being here with us today while we talk about this amazing film that we all love. Okay, I'm gonna kick Jeb. Okay, so thanks everyone for being here today to hear us talking about the film we all love. And yeah, we will catch you all next time where we talk about other things, probably better things, hopefully. Maybe Eternals, maybe Tazum, or maybe we're gonna criticize something. Who knows? I have no idea because I never plan anything for ECUM. We just do things. So yeah.
I was so late for the stream. I've only just appeared.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I missed the Don't Look Up. We have to start from the beginning.
Sure, Jeb. Do you actually want to talk about Don't Look Up all over again, Jeb? I don't think you do.
Did we discuss like how retarded the plan was to split the comet into bits?
I don't think we got into the logistics of it. If you would like to.
Basically, it wouldn't work. That's all I'm saying. Goodbye.
Well, they wanted to fucking put the fucking devices then explode them all at the same time in sync, so that they could split the meteor, the comet. I don't know exactly how that would work, but that's what they wanted to do. However, the device's syncing mechanism wasn't working, and it was something that every scientist who looked at the fucking plans knew. But they still went through with it anyway because capitalism, I guess. So yeah, that's what the film did. It is a fantastic film. So yeah.
Bear in mind that Marcus brought up they could have just diverted the comet, then send the machines on.
To extract the minerals as opposed to destroying the comet, because destroying the comet anyway would mean that they would lose part of it because they're fucking destroying it. Would also hurt. Fucking hell, no. It would hurt the how pure the fucking minerals are.
Oh shit! Manchester United have been knocked out as a cut to Middlesbrough.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
Yeah, that is. Chad is
You're a Liverpool fan.
Insane. Well, yeah, but
Be happy.
I am. Don't worry.
Laugh.
Wasn't that the ending to Age of Ultron? Well, Age of Ultron, they wanted to get the Sokovia to hit the Earth so fast that it would destroy the planet. And then they won by detaching the vibranium on under fucking Sokovia so that it wouldn't reach full speed with thrusters. I think that was it, but I don't remember exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that Iron Man almost died because he dodged the vibranium by like a millimeter. That was it.
Yeah, he was black, so he almost got shot by a police officer.
I'm glad Jeb said something like that before the stream ended, because it wouldn't be a normal ECUM without something like that. So thank you,
No,
Jeb.
we should have got a George Floyd 2.0 in this film.
Okay,
That
Jeb.
would really hit the racial inequality that's causing climate change issues.
Sure, Jeb. So
Because
anyway,
black people are
fucking
used
hell.
to the heat.
I'm sorry for Jeb. The views of Jeb do not represent the views of ECUM. Okay. So, anyway.
Please cancel me, and then I'll come to your house and I'll murder your child, and then we'll see who's the winner.
I like that this person's first comment ever in an ECUM chat is Iron Man's black. Yeah, that's the kind of thing you hear when you watch ECUM. Don't worry.
I know who that is.
Do you actually?
I actually know. Yeah, I know who that actually is.
Okay.
Don't tell me it's like your brother or something.
No.
Alright, so anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Don't watch Don't Look Up. Watch other things, better things that Zod recommended. And yeah, we will talk to you all next time. Hopefully, well, either next week or before next Friday, depending on how editing for the Flash reactions go. So yeah.
If you're black, kill yourself.
Kill yourself,
generally.
Jeb. Bye.
Bye-bye.